It's Nolan.
Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
Got my legal hustle, welcome to the trap. I can blow a stack, bet I make it back. You can hit my line if you need a track, but we can't even talk if it ain't about the bag. Got my legal hustle, welcome to the trap. I can blow a stack, bet I make it back. You can hit my line if you need a track, but we can't even talk if it ain't about the bag. Real settle, I done crept up, homie, I stepped up. Froze the neck up, my chase up, homie. Curveballs got me hitting sliders. Pinning hits like pinatas. It's a message in the cuts like stigmata. Yeah, we been in them corners night to the morning. Ay, crossing over through the borders. Ay, new chick, she imported. Ay, bring sand when I'm in the beach, boy, I stay dripping like water. Ay, private chef cooking up the plate, came a long way from that porch. I'm the artist, I'm the writer, I'm the publisher. Bitch, I'm an author, got more drive than a Thunderbird. I'm a leader, put my people on the hella work. Play me, I be rocking your score like I'm the Punisher. Still got it, still bad it. Your lady hanging off the kielbasa. Bill pasta, I'm entertaining in my Villa Casa. Been a monster, but need the profit. Y'all forgot me till I popped up on them like Team Rocket. Got my legal hustle, welcome to the trap. I can blow a stack, bet I make it back. You can hit my line if you need a track, but we can't even talk if it ain't about the bag. Got my legal hustle, welcome to the trap. I can blow a stack, bet I make it back. You can hit my line if you need a track, but we can't even talk if it ain't about the bag.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody out there is doing well on this Saturday afternoon going into the evening. And we got a nice little show lined up for y'all here. So, in this episode, we're going to be talking about Vic Mensa and Saba. These are two artists from Chicago. They both have, independent followings. They've been in the industry over a decade apiece. They come from that Chicago scene circa 2011, 12, moving forward. We're talking about Chance the Rapper. We're talking about Vic Mensa, who was also close with Chance. Saba was also close with Chance. They all collaborated at different times or another, but they've gone in their separate directions career-wise and have charted, different paths for themselves. Toured, did all types of things. But in 2025, within a span of about 2 weeks of each other, they both came out and spoke about how the music industry has shifted and changed, talking about their place in the music industry and also others coming after them that are trying to find their place within the music industry with less resources, trying to learn how to market yourself. All of the things that people don't necessarily learn about until you finally get into the game and realize everything that you thought about making music may not even matter as much as the actual music itself. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe more important than the music itself is what I was really trying to convey. And it's not exactly what you thought it would be. Now, a few days ago, we saw Vic Mensa on his social media platforms. He put a video out literally breaking down, crying. He said he broke down in the shower because he was thinking about this current era and what it's been, the music streaming era, the devaluation of the music, the streaming rates in which they've determined how much an artist gets paid per listen, how that monthly stream number kind of dictates how people view you as an artist. If you don't have a high monthly streaming count, some people will look at you like you're less than, like you're not a good artist. You could have the greatest music in the world and they still won't take you seriously without reaching a certain number. Right? We've got Saba. He's doing an interview with Elsie. Shout out to Elsie. Very great journalist out here doing things independently on her own and making her waves. A black woman in hip hop, a voice that's very much needed. they also spoke about the industry and where it stands. And Saba has been coming to the realization on his own that good music never spoke for itself. The music never did or never will speak for itself. It's about having, you know, things in place, your marketing, your branding, all of those different things. And I just thought it would be a good conversation to have, compiling both of those together, again, of artists who have gone out, they've done tours, they've traveled overseas, they've performed all over the world. They pretty much have, their own business model independently. They make money. It's not like they're poor or broke and complaining to social media about their financial status, but more so talking about, even though I've made it this far, these are still challenges that we face in this industry. And I like the transparency, and I like the fact that folks are willing to talk about this stuff, because some people will act too cool for school to have these conversations. But this show, Inside the Industry, was created based on these types of conversations for the most part. So I'm always happy to have them. So first up, let's get into Vic Mensa and his video about his thoughts in the shower, and we'll get into Vic in a moment after we watch his video.
Just broke down in the shower, just thinking about the weight of being an artist in a time when work is so devalued and depreciated. The impact on the mental health of artists the streaming era is creating. I remember I saw James Blake was launching that platform Vault, where he was having artists put their catalogs unreleased up, and I saw a comment on it that was like, why would I pay $10 to one artist when I could pay $10 for all artists ever? And at the time I was like, that's so fried of a mentality. But like today, it kind of hit me like how impacts the mental health of artists. People feel like that shit not worth $10. You know what I'm saying? It's heartbreaking, but it's hilarious at the same time. Like, not worth $10. Artists are already people that are predisposed to suicide. Like, that shit not funny, but that's real. To add into that a dimension of economic inequity so profound that not even the record labels know what to do about this. Like, they don't even know how to get the money right now. I was just feeling this way today, and I felt like, if I'm feeling this way, and I'm blessed to have touched millions of people with my art, I have a wonderful life. If I'm feeling this way, then I know there are many smaller artists, and larger, dealing with the same things, man. Just broke down in the shower.
All right, so that's Vic. Okay, at the top we see mental health and the streaming era. So he's looking at it from a mental health aspect of just the pressure, the depression that can come with pursuing this art form as a profession, and just the weight that comes with it when you go out and you put your best foot forward, you try to package it, you present it to the world, and you feel like the energy you put into it is never returned. And then you have to deal with the streaming era and, him comparing people paying $10, which is $10 is a low rate. I mean, in today's world, $10 feels like a lot, but remember when albums were $15.99, $19.99? Some albums was damn near $25 at one point or another, in the earlier days of when CDs were on the market at the mom and pop stores and at all the different retailers and stuff like that. But now people say, well, shit, why would I pay you $10 for your album when I could pay $10 a month for the entire catalog of everybody, right? And from an economic standpoint, I understand, because we're all struggling, not just artists. People in general are going through hard times, which creates a balance of equity just in general. Because when the people are suffering, the consumers are suffering, then they don't have the money to pay every artist that they, have a surface level like for. I like a couple of your songs. I like a few of your songs, but maybe I'm not your biggest fan. Maybe I'm not your target audience for an actual purchase, right? But at the same time, when I look at an artist like a Vic Mensa, again, nobody would really, well, I ain't gonna say nobody, but most people would say, damn, Vic Mensa signed to Roc Nation, or at least he was. I don't know his current status, but he was signed to Roc Nation for over a decade. He's been managed by Roc Nation. I think he did a deal with Columbia around his second project, debut album. We're not talking about internet tape. We're talking about, I forgot the name of the actual album that came out on Columbia. But he was over there for a minute. And then he did some other stuff. And I think for last couple years, he was just straight Roc Nation, like Roc Nation Management, Roc Nation Label. And I think he may have like his own imprint or something like that, right? But again, this is somebody who he has a very strong footprint out in Africa as of, the last few years. He's privileged to even, be able to make those trips and be actually foot on the ground on the continent multiple times per year, have a festival out there with him and Chance. So he's ahead of the curve in terms of like the average artist. But the fact that he was in the shower and had an emotional type of, I won't call it a breakdown, I'll call it a breakthrough about this, and looking at it from the standpoint of those who haven't reached his level, like what comes with that, I know personally a few artists that have taken their own lives, you know what I'm saying? Because they felt like, I'm not getting where I want to be, talented motherfuckers, you know what I mean? Just like, man, I put so much into this. Life ain't going the way I wanted or needed to at this moment. And next thing you know, they're just not here. You feel me? There was once upon a time in my younger days where, I had a brief stint of feeling a very similar way because life was not lining up. The cards in my deck, boy, it was tough to keep a poker face out this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Not to be funny. And I had similar ideations, nothing that I would, act upon, but it was some rough days. If you listen to Southside Nolan, I tell a couple of them stories in there. But in Family Over Fame, I also expound into that a little further. We'll get that out as soon as we can. My forthcoming project. But yeah, man, shit ain't always peachy, man. And this thing here, this music shit, this entertainment shit, no matter how much you love it, it will never love you as much as you love it. You feel me? From the business, the structure, the money, the fans even. Because fans can be fickle too. And man, when you ain't hot, we see it right now with the Lil Wayne thing. That's why I didn't like go super hard on Wayne. I wasn't willing to say, yo, he just needs to retire and quit rapping. I didn't like the Carter 6, but I do feel like there's a lot of potential there for Wayne. He's somebody with a massive fan base. He has a lot of positive things in his direction. He just has to navigate his way back to a place where he can stand firmly and strongly and deliver for those people. But there's so many artists who are not privileged enough to even have that, right? So Vic, what I do like is he's been kind of moving in a very proactive sort of way as of late. Like I've been seeing him doing live streaming. A lot of artists have been hesitant to get into the live streaming space or even just like cultivating a YouTube audience for themselves. I'm so happy that that's becoming a resource. Like it's literally been a calling card for me to feel like, fulfilled, to be able to talk about music, to talk about the mechanics and the makeup of how music comes to fruition, the creative input of music, and also giving, honest critiques, having conversations about these things, and also being able to showcase my musical talent at the same time. It's definitely very encouraging when I see people in the comments that are like, yo, when is this dropping? What is this? What's the name of this track here? Where can I get this from? You playing, what's up? Why you not releasing this? You know what I mean? Where's family over fame? Some people been asking, you know, I see all of that stuff. I also see the people that get mad at my takes and they be like, man, fuck you and your music. You stink. You stink. You know, they just be speaking out of emotions. But, and some people may genuinely not like my shit. That's cool too, you know? But it's cool to see that he's been trying to tap into, you know, building community, because I think that's where music and entertainment is heading. Is if you have a talent, if you have a personality, if you have a viewpoint or you know, something about you, a certain je ne sais quoi that people want to tap in about, you have to be able to put that on display. You can't, you know, sit in the dark. Like, everybody's not gonna have a Kendrick Lamar presence where you could just pop out, drop your music, pop out, drop your music video, pop out, drop your tour, and niggas is gonna show up. You know what I'm saying? And he puts a lot of personality into everything that he does, to where it kind of feeds the fans, but everybody else, you got to get in where you fit in. So what I've noticed with him is he's live streaming now. He started to do actual features for his fans that actually happen to be musicians, free features, by the way. So he's been getting on YouTube. He's done it a couple times in the last month or so, where he literally takes submissions for artists. Like, yo, if you're a fan of my music and you're an artist yourself, you know, send your music over here, and I'll pick my favorite song out of the bunch to get on and do features. You know what I mean? And typically, if you're gonna get a feature from him, it's gonna cost you multiple thousands of dollars. I don't know what his going rate is, but an artist like Vic, you're probably gonna pay a minimum of $5,000. You're probably gonna get into the teens, right? But he's willing to do it for free, you know, to engage with his fans, build that following, build that thing up. And it's not a one-time thing, which I think a lot of artists would have just did once. But he's done it twice already and planning to do more of it. I think that's a very good way of doing things. Not to say that you gotta give out free features for people to tap in with you, but you have to find something. You have to find a unique offering to build with people, and in the midst of that, people get to talk to you. You're having engagements with the chat, like you're building a community of people that are looking forward to seeing you, even if they can't get that feature from you, right? So that's why I wanted to talk about Vic, because I salute that. Like, there's people like LaRussell out here doing shows in their backyard, building up a fucking sound stage and stuff like that, showing people proof of concept, and then all of a sudden he's getting booked all over the nation, all over the world to perform. He got booked to perform at the previous All-Star weekend. You feel me? Like, but he showed proof of concept from his garage. Then he went to the backyard and built his fucking pergola up and started holding shows in his backyard, and it became an attraction that people literally traveled, and celebrities have traveled to be a part of. You know what I'm saying? And I just love having these fucking conversations about pushing creativity and pushing yourself beyond what the scope of the industry places on you. I think even with a Vic Mensa, I know he's doing a album listening tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what the business structure is, like, again, behind this album, but if he were to go and, you know, get with Even, which is a platform that I've collaborated with, other big artists have gone over. Coast Contra has collaborated with Even to you know, release their music direct to the consumer. J. Cole partnered with Even when he did his 2014 Forest Hills Drive show at the end of last year. His podcast was partnered with Even for the proprietary technology to build his app for that podcast that he did, where he was telling all his industry stories over the course of his career and all that type of stuff coming up from, you know, being in college and all that. Like, we got to find other ways, because the streaming platforms, number one, they don't give a fuck about us. When we complain about the streaming rates, they say just drop more music. That's their answer. Just drop more music. But if you're an artist who only wants to drop or release music when you have something to say, you're not going to fit into that frequency of dropping more music, and you shouldn't have to. Right? So that's that. Let me get to Saba. So now with Saba, speaking to LC, the quote here says, "The music ain't never spoke for itself. There's tons of amazing songs you've never heard. Because of that, it's always been something else." And this is Saba on why just dropping music and disappearing isn't a real strategy for growth. Remember, I just talked about that. So let's see what his thoughts are on this.
This is something that I'm guilty of, but I think most artists romanticize the past in a way that it's like, we got to do all of this shit now that they didn't have to do back then. And it's like, these niggas are in commercials, they're selling products, they're doing all of this shit that they probably don't want to be doing. And that's a part of their version of, you know, getting out there, getting their songs out there, getting their face out there and all of that shit. So it's like, it's really up to you. At the end of the day, it's like, it's up to you, but just be proud of whatever result that like brings. Like, if you don't want to be online doing content or making reels or TikToks or YouTube shorts or whatever, like, it's like, you literally don't have to.
Yeah, you just gotta manage your expectations, I guess.
Manage your expectations or just do something else. It's like, if you're not doing that, what are you doing? Because there's always something that you, you
gotta do something.
It's like, do something. Like, we don't, like, it don't gotta be this.
But it has to be something.
It gotta be something.
That is so true.
You know?
Yeah, because a lot of people talk about, you know, I just want to make the music, let the music speak for itself.
And it's like, the music ain't never spoke for itself. Ever. Motherfuckers think the music speak for themselves. It's tons of amazing songs that you never fucking heard because the shit don't speak for itself.
That is true.
It's your homie who's like, hey, this is dope.
Word of mouth.
He spoke for the music. They spoke for the music. Or you heard it in a movie. Or you heard it in a commercial.
On the radio or whatever.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always been something else.
All right. So that's one piece. And I want to play some more of Saba before I speak on him specifically. So here he goes into people underutilizing the power of familiarity. This is not your favorite song. It's just the one you've heard the most. Saba on how familiarity shapes our taste and why new music doesn't always hit on the first listen.
I feel like people underutilize the power of familiarity.
That is true.
Like, it's like, this is not your favorite song. This is the song that you heard the most.
So many times. It became your favorite
song. So you
song.
know all of the fucking lyrics to it. So you feel a sense of,
that's so true.
Hey, this my shit. Like, it's like, this not
But
your
you just
shit.
heard it so many times.
You just know this shit. So you feel like when that shit come on and you outside, it's like you, it's like you get that sense of familiarity. And that's really the play on the reels and the TikToks and the shorts. It's like you need to get somebody familiar with it.
That's so true.
Because I feel like that's where I'm at right now, where I'm like, bro, there are so many people that love Bucket List or love Care for Me or some shit like that.
Great album.
And that's awesome, right? But I'm like, y'all are familiar with that.
Yes.
And it's like, sit with the music. Let it, you know what I'm saying? Learn a word or two. See how you feel about this. Like, it's always jarring hearing something you haven't heard before.
That is true.
It's jarring. It's like, what? I can't predict what's going to happen next. You mean I don't know the hook? Like, it's like.
That's true. And I think there's a lot of songs that, like, I probably didn't really like on first listen, but, like, have really grown on me the more I've listened to it.
All right. So with Saba, what he's talking about here is the programming that goes into music. And with newer artists or newer generation artists, more specifically, because you don't have to be new in order to be seen as new gen, right? It's harder sometimes to pick out your favorite artists out of the people that are no longer the people you grew up on. Like, if you grew up on Jay-Z, Wayne, T.I., Ludacris, you know, you could go across the coast of whoever it is. Cameron, E40, fucking Too Short. Snoop, whoever it is that was your generation of like the untouchables, right? And then those untouchables get older, they change, they rebrand, they go off to do other things, they become more involved in their business ventures, less music, or their music doesn't become as representative of who you are as you grow in your life. You're then left at a crossroads of like, okay, so if that no longer represents me, now I have to go into this new pool, right? So you're no longer in that pool that you grew up in. You got to now go to a new rec center, just using an example, and getting a new pool with new surroundings, new people. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, how do you find your favorite new pool to go swim in, right? And are you gonna have to look at them with the same type of the same eyes that you had for the other one? Like, are you coming with the same expectations? And then that's tough, right? Because it's like, damn, Denzel Curry may have elements of Lil Wayne or this one or that one, but he ain't him. So then it's like, I like Denzel Curry, but I only want to hear certain songs from him. I'm not listening to his albums front to back. I'm not saying that that's how I feel about him. I'm just using this as an example. I have to explain these things because being on this microphone, everything gets taken out of context for no reason, right? So now it's hard to figure out like the new shit. What's the new shit that's popping, and where do you find out that it's popping, right? Some people may come to channels like mine or others in the YouTube space that, you know, listen to music, react to music, talk about music, and say, okay, if you're talking about it, maybe I should go look into this person. Or I see people talking about this, they say it's good, but let me listen to your reaction to it first. Because if you say it's whack, I might not waste my time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of like one of the ways that music discovery is happening. We're now with the streaming platforms, everybody's able to drop so much music, but where do you have the time to like really hone in on something new and learn the words to something new outside of like a GNX, which is like a big cultural moment, something that we all could latch on to, something that we all have been awaiting for, you know what I'm saying, especially after the events that occurred last year. But who else are we going to galvanize around in that way? I see that there's a moment happening for the Clips right now where everybody is collectively coming together to champion them. But outside of that, like what's the next artist or set of artists that can get that same type of energy from the culture, from the people, right? He talked about it even with his own projects. He's like, you know, some people love Bucket List Project or Care For Me, which are two of his more popular projects, but then he just released an album from the Private Collection with No ID this year. I'm not gonna lie, when I compare that project to those previous ones, it doesn't leave me with the same fulfillment in my gut, right? But at the same time, is it because I want him to create more music like those albums, those projects that I lived with, or is it because it's just not as profound? I don't know. You know, and he questions, it's just not what you're familiar with. You haven't lived with it enough the way that you did that other stuff. So he's basically challenging people to live with the music a little bit more and see if it's worth you know, spending more time with. And for the Wayne fans, that's gonna be like, oh man, you're such a hypocrite. You didn't live with that Wayne album. No, I did not. And I'm not going to. Because I love Wayne and I know what Wayne is supposed to do. I'm gonna contradict myself on that one. I'm not a hater, but I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. Don't come around here with that foolishness. But also with the programming, again, like I talked about, playing my music at the top and the back end of my videos. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many people out there that could, off the top of their head, King of My City and Cul-de-sac, Coming out swinging like soldier rat, leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit like I'm an almanac. You know what I'm saying? That know that shit off the bat. And y'all might not even win and fucking listen to Let's Get It, the full song. But y'all know when that bitch kick in at the end of my videos, hey, you know what I'm saying? Programming. But you gotta be able to, you gotta find ways to program. You know what I mean? And just like he mentioned, you might have heard a song in a movie or a TV commercial or all of these different things. This is something I've been challenging artists to diversify into for years. A lot of people wanted to, but they didn't want to buy my course. So they didn't, you know what I mean? They didn't want to pay for the consultation with me to like get the information from me. Or after they did get the information from me and paid for it, they didn't want to do the legwork. They wanted to keep asking me questions when all you really had to do was take the framework that I've gave you and go fucking reach out to some people. You gotta be proactive as well. People are not gonna come looking for you all the time. Sometimes you gotta go looking for the opportunities. So there's that as well. And I think in today's industry, if you're not forward thinking, if you're not a self-starter, yeah, you're gonna be in for a long haul. And I can speak from experience that I went through a time period in my early to mid 20s of not necessarily being a self-starter. I was very prolific in the studio. I was very much creative. I was making music, but I did not know what to do with it. I didn't know where to go with it. I had no idea of what the additional deliverables would be that could get me to a different audience. And it took for me to like meet certain people that could introduce and open my mind up to other outlets that my life began to shift and my mentality began to shift. So it's like, okay, now I could get my songs on fucking UFC. I could have my song on fucking a YouTube show. I could have my song in a game stream. I could have my song in mobile games that some of y'all play on your phones. I have that as well. I'm in 2K. I'm in fucking Netflix shows. I'm in all of this different shit. And I'm not saying this stuff to brag, but it's like if you have a small budget, you don't have a crazy team around you, how do you reach people, or how do you get your music even into the psyche or in a place where you can even be monetizing it without having like crazy clout? And if you sit around and wait for these people to just like you, you're gonna be broke, you're gonna be sad, and it ain't gonna look good for you. You know what I mean? But one thing that I did notice that Saba is also doing, he's kind of gotten into, I think it's like a Discord streaming as well, where him and his other comrades in music will literally do like a rap challenge. Like they'll play a beat. I think they play the beat for like 15 minutes and they write. And whoever has the best verse within that 15 minutes, like after the 15 minutes is up, everybody got to say their verse. And there's like a prize or some sort of something that comes with having the best verse out of that 15-minute challenge. You feel me? And they also opened it up to other MCs that wanted to join. It's something that I wanted to do. I just never have the time to do anything outside of my family and fucking with y'all. But hopefully if they continue to do it, I'll join. Because even something like that, that's kind of like having your own like rap club. And that is something that's valuable, especially in today's time, because that thing can become bigger. You could have a fucking community of 200 MCs and all of y'all are buying merch and, you know, y'all might do shows together, or that could be the prize. Like the top 4 MCs out of this week, we're going to put a show together with all of us doing our music on this date 2-3 months from now, so we have time to like build towards it. Like you gotta have something creative and something that you could like get people to rally behind, because the people that are viewing it and watching it are gonna be like, well shit, how can I get more of this? How can I be a part of this? Even if I'm not a rapper, I like this energy. How can I be a part of that? How can I get in the room? Take the top 2 to 3 MCs out of this week and say, hey, we're gonna do a studio session, and we're gonna find a sponsor that'll fly you guys out to fly you guys out and sponsor the studio session, and we're gonna make, you know, however much music we can make in a 5-hour session. and then we're gonna package it and put it out and release it to the people. Like, cool shit like that goes a long way. And then there's, on the other side of it, just like doing those features like Vic Mensa, you're now making it cool or cooler to be your fan. Like, damn, the fans is getting love. The fans is getting taken care of. The fans is now a part of the movement. Just things to think about, man. Because you can't, again, think that just being good at this shit is enough. All right. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider, and I will catch y'all on the next one. All right. Much love, respect, y'all. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more to survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef on computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.